How are you doing today? Hello, hello. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Aussie. Welcome. How is everyone? We are going to actually just play and make some jewelry. I have, we went on a buying trip to Tucson. Honey, I know I've got another show tonight too in the art room. It's a whole thing. Here we are. We're going to play with some beads today. And, we went to Tucson last weekend and were able to get some amazing new beads. And I thought that it would be a good idea for my handmade market show to actually create some jewelry. So I haven't had a chance to play with any of it yet because, yeah, I've just been busy. So here we are. So we're going to play. How is everyone doing today? Hi, Karen, you're back. Um, Michaela, hello. Tooth Fairy, Sally, Maury, Sammy, Doodle, Kim, Jana. Hey, hey, we're gonna play. So I got this. It's not this one. The blue lace agate, and I really wanted to make a bracelet and some earrings. I don't know if this one's gonna match. It looks a little green. I don't know. We're gonna see. So we're gonna play with some stuff. How is everyone doing? I have some projects set up to show some different things. Um, Basically, what I want to do is just go through Groovy Kit Kat, Auntie Gabby. Hey, Gabs, I got you a bag of envelopes when I was thrifting the other day. Just saying. Mackenzie, hello. Um, no pressure. If you don't like them, I will obviously use them. But I threw some more in your package, but I need to know what you're looking for. But when we go live thrifting tomorrow, I'm sure I'll find more too. There's that. No, I didn't put it in my bin. I figured I'd just wait till tomorrow so you don't have to pay like double shipping because, we're going to find you fabric. I always find you good fabrics. Oh, and by the way, the sheer fabric that you grabbed today with maple, that was a good grab. I would like to point out that was a good grab. So, anyway, hi Tara, how are you, Mackenzie? If I missed you, I apologize. Trying to unstring some beads here. Um, Not real sure where we're gonna go with this, but we're gonna make some jewelry. I do know that because I've been dying to play with these blue lace agates. I do have a couple of strands available. If you are looking to purchase beads and findings, please bookmark my Wednesday shows. I'm going to be rolling out new things that we got in Tucson every Wednesday. I will release some new things. I think that's going to be blue enough. I'm not picking, they're not for crafting, they're just to mail out stickers. I'm making stickers now. Your husband got you a machine. That is so cool. I really need to do that, but you know, time frames. I feel like I don't have time for anything anymore. So there's a few on here that are greenish and there's a few that are blue. So we're going to stick with the ones that are blue for now and see what we can do. I love blue lace agate. It is just one of those things that I adore. And I was lucky enough to get a few different strands of it when we were in Tucson. So let's start out with just a pair of earrings and be simple here. Hmm, let's do a couple of stripes. Set all these aside. How is everybody doing? Dragons and Gypsies, Sparkle, Houston Woman, hello. So when I'm making earrings, usually what I'll do is I'll just kind of lay them out and see how they look. Um, get an idea of where I want to go with it. It may or may not work out, but I would rather do it now than wait until I get everything put on and decide I don't like the way it hangs. Um, this my phone says that we're casting to YouTube. So if we are and you're watching from YouTube, thanks for watching. Um, Sometimes it says it is and it actually isn't. So here's hoping because we're going to do some basics today. Is there anybody in here that has never made jewelry? You got a notice? Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Nance, hello, love. How are you? What, ma'am, what are you doing slinging beads during the day? Do you feel okay? A mom knows your voice sounded weird. We're making some jewelry. That's what we're doing. I got some really pretty okay. Well, we can chat like maybe Sunday. Missy Sue, how are you, beautiful? We're gonna make some earrings. Um, I've loaded up the bin with okay. I knew you were starting a new job. I thought you already did. That's why I was confused. So that makes more sense. Okay. That makes more sense. My brain was like, "Oh no, she started her new job and she's already like over it because she's on whatnot during the day." Hi Marie, how are you? So if you are not aware, this is the handmade market that goes every Friday, and it is going to be running through the end of February. And then a new quarter is going to start in March. So it's just a whole bunch of handmade people coming together. We do our shows and then we go into the show of someone that is also participating. So if you would like to see different handmade people in the community, just type in your search bar Winter Handmade Market and it'll pull up all the shows on Fridays. Also, for announcements, Monday is the Artisan Creative Train. It is the monthly handmade train that I run. I've been running it for, gosh, year and a half now. Almost coming up on 2 years. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to go back and look. But it's a monthly raid train where we do demos and it's across all the handmade. You will find everything from jewelry to painting to polymer clay, crochet, all the things. And so if you would go in and put Artisan Creative Train in your search bar, it will pull up all of the shows for Monday. So we're gonna make these earrings to start off. I swear I grabbed ear wires. I swear I did. They're buried under all this stuff. So what I've just done is I've kind of laid out a pattern. So I have an idea of what I want it to look like. Um, Kelly, JT, Sky, welcome. Hello. We're just going to make some basic things. I'm playing with some beads that we got in Tucson, and I have literally have had these beads in my house for almost a week. Actually, it was a week ago today that we went, and I still have not been able to play with any of them. So here we are. Um, I'm just going to cheat and use this one-step looper. When you use a one-step looper, if you go slow, it will actually connect and do what you need it to do. The problem comes when you go too fast and it doesn't close all the way and people say they hate it. So basically what you do is you slide it in. There's a hole back here that your head pin comes through. This piece right here is what cuts. So if you're right up against a crystal, you want to back off a little bit, which is why I put a metal daisy spacer here. And when you squeeze, it's going to cut that. And then that continues to push it around that pin and it makes your loop. Once your loop is made, I like to just give it a little jog backwards so it sits straight. And you may have to do some adjusting, but it just is so much easier than struggling with making them all from scratch. Yeah, it's if you do a lot of loops, this and they have different sizes. So if you're going to buy one, please pay attention to the size um, of what you're getting. They're called one step looper. The one that I am using is the 1.5 millimeter, and it is the one that is I generally use for making earrings just because I don't want big loops in the middle of my dangles. If I'm doing dangles for like purse charms or sun catchers, I'll use my bigger one. Yeah, they're just it's makes life easy. So again, you just slide it in. Now I'm doing this on the other end of an eye pin. So I want to pay attention to how my loop is sitting. If you want them opposite, you would turn it this way. If you want them going the same direction, you want to make sure that it is perpendicular with your tool. Athena, hello again, love. Blondie DH, welcome. And so if it's laying perpendicular, what you want to do is again, I'm going to try to go really slow so you can see how this works. It cuts it, and then that continues to push it around as you squeeze and create that loop for you. I give it a little bit of a pull, and you have your loop. They're really awesome tools. Um, it's a love-hate relationship, and people either love them or hate them. When I first got mine, I did not like it. It was quicker for me to do them by hand. Simply Smarter Shop, and thank you so much for the raid, dear. Y'all, if you are not following I can't talk, Simply Smarter Shopping, she makes amazing things. I actually got the most awesomest breast cancer awareness t-shirt from her. So please give her a follow and check out what she has. Blazing Creations, welcome. Thank you for the raid. Again, y'all, please follow Blazing Creations. We are just making some earrings. We are playing with some jewelry or some beads that it is called a one-step looper. Here, I'll put it in chat. They're so good. If you make a lot of loops, especially I struggled with it at first because it's very widespread and I have arthritis, so holding on to it and getting used to it was difficult. But I found if I lay it in my palm and go really slow, it's pretty easy to maneuver. When I first got it, I absolutely hated it because my loops weren't closing, but I was trying to go fast. And you can go fast, but you need this piece right here to push your wire around your peg. And if you go slow, the wire doesn't slip, and 9 times out of 10, it closes perfectly. This peg is what determines the size of your loop. They come in 1.5, 2.5, and 3.0. Baker Chick, how are you, love? Dina, welcome. Monica, Artistic Fusion, hello, how are you, Karen? We're playing with beads that have been sitting in my house for how an out a whole week, and I have not been able to touch them because I've been busy. So when you have your loop, what you want to do is very important. Open your loops side to side. You don't want to pull them open. If you open them side to side, you maintain the integrity of that circle. So when you go to close it, you close it right back side to side, and everything is going to stay put. Maple, how are you, babe? I was in and out of your show today because I got a lot going on today. It's Friday. I'm busy. But you found some awesome stuffs. Happy Friday, my friend. I have one more show tonight, which is going to be in my art room. And I got a whole ton of 12 by 12 paper that I'm going to be running tonight. It is Stamper's Journey and Stampin' Up, and they're pretty awesome. So there's that. Um, and then we get to go live thrifting tomorrow, which is awesome. I'm excited for that. Does anybody else have shows today? I know that there was quite a few people that had shows scheduled. Um, you have a show at 6 Central, which is 5 my time. Okay, nice. So I believe, I could be wrong. the I wish we would just go back to the regular time frame. Anyway, time zones. We never change our time zone, so it just is really confusing because we're bouncing between time zones. But right now we're on Mountain Time. And then when we have the time change again, we're going to go back to Pacific. I like it much better when we're on Pacific. Makes it easier to math. We're not like in the middle of the world. You're doing your clothes tonight. Awesome. Alrighty then. I think my game plan is to raid into Gifty Gypsy. So I will have her, if you're still on, have her raid into you. So that was just like really simple. But we have some gorgeous blue lace agate earrings. Um, so we are going to for the market, I run what I make, and then it goes in my bin for regular price. The blue lace agate would be $18 normally, but here we go. If you want these, I'm gonna run them for 10, and then they're gonna go in with my regular prices. All right, thank you for taking a look at those. If you are watching from YouTube and would like to purchase, please leave me a message and I will honor that price for you on YouTube. And this is how I do this because if I don't do it immediately, I will forget. I have two in-person shows coming up this month. They're towards the end of the month, so I'm excited for that. They are at gem and mineral shows. So the majority of what I make for it is gemstone jewelry. Um, and I'm just kind of showing you my process. I have learned that I need to tag it, label it, and price it as I make them. Otherwise, when it comes time to do a show, I have a whole bowl of jewelry that needs pricing and it's totally overwhelming. So if you do it as you go, as you make each piece, when it comes time to do a show, it makes life so much easier. There's that. Um, let's do I was just talking to somebody about that. We don't want that. I'm looking for some tiger tail in here. I'm gonna do a quick bracelet. When I do my bracelets, I generally start out with 11 to 12 inches. You did that to yourself. Blake, I'm telling you, man. Oh, it's overwhelming. Like I literally have a basket full of jewelry that I just need to tag and price, and it's still sitting there. And it's probably gonna sit there until the week before my in-person, and then I'm gonna panic, grab stuff, but for right now, it's a hot mess. So I've started just doing it as I go. So I'm using this. It is the Bead Buddy. It is a where are we at? 7 strand. So something that someone mentioned that's kind of funny is they mentioned that they never know what size crimps to use with different wire. And the 0.45 or the 0.018 uses a number 2 crimp tube. And if you get, let me see if it's on, yes. If you get the Beetle brand, it will actually tell you right on it. This particular wire takes a number 1 round or a number 1 tube to crimp it properly. So it's very important for a good, what's the word I'm looking for? A good closure to make sure that you're using the right size crimps. The one that I'm using is going to take a number 2, and I obviously didn't get crimps out, so here we are. I keep this is a Craftmates, and what it has in it is it has all these little compartments, And this is where I keep all of my basic stringing materials. Um, so in here I have my wire guards. I have crimp covers. You hear that hesitation? It's time to get some crimp covers, ma'am. I have my crimp covers. And well, that's a whole situation because there aren't any crimp tubes in there. So let me grab some. Oh, hold on, guys. There we go. And then I have a crimp tubes. How come you don't want to open for me? There we go. The package is fighting me, or I'm fighting it, one of the two. So, to use a crimp, basically what you want to do is put on your crimp tube, and then you're going to take your wire guard, and your wire guard, you're going to go up. There's like a little tube. Let me turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to go up and around, and there's like a little groove in here. That's where your wire is going to sit. So you're going to go around, and then you're going to go back down. So it's going to look like this in a U shape. Okay. What you want to do is thread that back down through that crimp tube. And what that is going to do when you crimp it down is it's going to hold your beading wire and keep it from pulling. Hi, Sarita. How are you? Sarita, did you see my message that I got your swaps yesterday, love? Good, good. Let me see. I missed a bunch of people coming in. Daisy, Fira, Victoria, Jellyfish, Danielle, Gailey, Brains Booty, Mom of Minnie, Sharon, Sarita, again, Melinda. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this little basic beading tutorial that I'm throwing together. Now, your crimp pliers may look different than mine, but all of them have a spot where it is indented, where it's going to make like a C shape. Mine happen to have a spot to crimp 3, 2, and 1 millimeter. Most of the standard ones only have one spot to do that. So what you want to do is you want to lay your crimp, whether it's a crimp bead or a crimp tube, in that spot where it's going to smash it down into a U shape. You want to make sure that your wire is snug against that, and then we're going to just squeeze down. So once you've squeezed down, you've created that U shape. You're going to turn it at a 90-degree angle. You're going to put it in that rounded spot and you're just going to smash it flat. So what you're doing basically is just folding it over. Give it a squeeze. And so you've smashed it flat, you've folded it over. And what I always like to do is hold on to it and really tug hard. I want to make sure that I don't have any slippage in this, okay? Before I go much further. The next thing I'm going to do is put on a crimp cover. And what this is going to do is just going to cover up that sharp edge. And you see it's kind of like a C shape, it encases it. And when I go to close it, I give it a light squeeze to get it pulled in. And then I rotate my pliers where it's like at that tip, so it's kind of at an angle. And I work my way back and forth like this until I get a good closure. It may take a minute, it may take a little bit of work, but it's always better to go slow and get a good closure. Job Coach Laura, welcome. Carmen's Craft Corner, welcome. Ken Melinda. So see how we're getting that closed? I'm just slowly working on that because I want it to literally sit there and it just looks like I have a 3mm bead on there. Awesome. All right. So there's that. The next thing that you're going to do is string your beads on. What beads are we going to use? Well, obviously we're going to use the blue lace agate. We're going to set these aside for the other end of our bracelet. So we're going to just pop those up there. And we're going to kind of see, what do we want this bracelet to look like? And I like to lay my beads out before I put any on and just get a feel for what they look like. I'm looking for some spacers up here. Get a feel for how I want it to lay. Obviously we're going to use some of these because I love these ovals so very much. And then I think we're going to use these silver spacers. These are a really awesome different cut than what you normally get. So we're going to do a spacer. Let's do 3 beads, a spacer, an oval, and that's going to kind of be our pattern. However, we used these on the earrings. Do we want to incorporate those to make it go together? Gifty Gypsy, did you make it home safely with all the kiddos? So maybe, just maybe, we can put this on either side of this and see how that looks. So I think that'll be our pattern. I kind of like that. And you see where I'm going with this, except for it's going off camera. So we're going to go this way. We're just going to turn it. Home, two schools, Walmart, Little Caesars, McDonald's, and a corner store. Ma'am. Mimi needs to get her driver's license. All right, so we're going to do this the long ways, and we're going to see. So you can see it in the camera. It's kind of crooked. That's okay. So again, we're going to grab 2 of these. I know she does. We are going to grab another one of these juicy lace agates. We're going to do this. And then I think from the looks of it, Size-wise, we probably have our 6 inches. So when I'm designing, let's say I want to make a 7-inch bracelet. I want, ooh, that's a lot. I want like 6 inches of beads because typically your clasp takes up 1 inch. Um, so this is going to be about a 7.5-inch bracelet. Um, it's just, they're not all 1 inch, but give or take, they are roughly 1 inch that you need to add to your design measurements to compensate for, sorry, that clasp that you're getting ready to put on here. I have lost the name of this stone. I don't know why I have such a problem with it. It's March's birthstone. It'll come to me or Alice will put it in chat for me, one of the two. Aquamarine. I struggle with it so hard. I don't know why. Thank you, Karen and Alice. I love it and I buy it all the time. I should probably like put it in my, like, write it in Sharpie on my hand before I start designing with it every time. Every time I go live, I lose it. I'll lose the name. It's just gone. Your birthstone? Karen, March what? The 5th. Nice. And you're going to be 25 again, right? I don't particularly like that bead. Okay, we have all the beads strung on there. Absolutely. Okay, so what I want to do here, and this is important when you're using larger beads, make sure that it moves because a lot of times when you get larger beads, they're they get stiff. Um, so I think these are going to be okay. They're going to lay all right. So what you want to do here is Made in Texas Treasures. Hi, Carrie. How are you, my friend? Cyan, J-Ho. You're jumping in and out of shows. I was doing that earlier. Um, so hi. Hi, bye. Do you have a show today, babe? So if I do this too tightly, it's going to be really stiff and it's not going to give me that flowy feeling. So you want to keep that in mind when you are designing jewelry. You do in an hour, okay? Custom word burning, how are you? We're making a blue lace aglet bracelet. We made earrings and we're making a bracelet to match. So at the other end, that excess wire is tucked in these beads, and we're going to just repeat the process only on the other end. You're going to put on your crimp tube. You're going to put on your wire guard. Thank you. I love these. These are, Tamika, this is the first time I have played with the beads that we got last weekend in Tucson. I sold some on Wednesday, but I have physically not been able to play with them. So here we are. So you want to feed that back down through, and it is, some people say that it's best to just cut it off at the crimp. Um, my reasoning behind leaving it is, and I say this all the time, so if you're not new here, I'm sorry you have to listen to it again, but my reasoning is I do a lot of in-person shows. And if I have this bracelet and somebody says, I need that to be a 5.5, I can literally snip this and I have enough wire to manipulate and change the size of my design. Whereas if I cut it off, I have wasted this tiger tail and I have to start over and restring the whole thing with a new piece of tiger tail. Um, some people just make their jewelry the size it is and that's how it stays and it doesn't matter. And as long as you have a good crimp, then absolutely you can cut that off after you crimp it. So at the end of the day, what keeps the stability of your bracelet um, is your crimp. It is not, where is the, I've lost my end. It is not this wire hanging out through here. Has nothing to do with the integrity of your bracelet. Yep, your teacher is getting her butt kicked by this right now. Go, go, go. I just needed to get through that bead so I can, okay, we're just gonna forget it. I needed to get through this bead so I can cut it off, and sometimes we struggle with these things. Is that enough to get a hold of the end? I can literally hear you giggling gleefully, Alice, because I'm struggling with this. It's like it doesn't want to go through. Oh, it's not going to go through that bead. Okay, so we're going to stop with that. Here's where I have it, and I have all of this wire. It's there, it won't go through there twice. That hole's too small. One of the things that I say is take your round nose pliers, take your pokey tool, take whatever. And the best way to get this tight, make sure your wire is still threaded through. Just hook it on here and give it counter pressure and pull. See how that so easily tightens up for you? That was you, Karen. Yeah, Alice struggles with that all the time. Were you gleefully giggling that it was struggling? That bead hole is too small for two wires. Pain in my patootie. It's all good. So even I struggle with it. So when you pull this tight, you want to make sure that it's still flexible. If you pull it too tight, it's going to lay on your wrist really weird. And you want it to be flexible and you want it to lay smoothly on your wrist. Okay. Now, another thing that a lot of people fail to mention is you have to take into consideration the 3 millimeters that you need for this crimp cover. So if you pull this all the way down to where it's tied up against there, when you put that crimp cover on, it's going to pull these beads tighter and you're going to lose some of that flexibility. So pay attention to that. You'll get used to this is so crooked, it's driving me cray cray. Here we go. You'll get used to how much room you need for your crimps. And if you see I have a little bit of a gap there, I would rather have a little bit of a gap than have it too tight. Again, I'm going to put it in where we're going to, this very first one closest to the handle, we're going to lay it down and we're going to crimp it down. Once we've crimped that down, we're going to turn it at a 90-degree angle, possibly. And we are going to put it in that second spot. and it's gonna fight me the whole way because this is what it does. Because I can't get a hold of it. There we go. Go where you're supposed to, ma'am. And then I'm just gonna fold that in half. Make sure that it's nice and tight, it's not going anywhere. And what I like to do is pull my beads as tight as I can right here before I take up that space. And what that's gonna do is when I cut this off, it's gonna land that end inside of this bead, okay? Now, when you're cutting this, you wanna use your flush cutters, you want the flat side up against, and you want to absolutely positively make sure that you only have the loose strand, not the one that your beads are on. It will typically take once of cutting both cords, and you won't do it again. You will pay attention. Again, and I have a little bit, probably way too much space there, but that's okay because I like to have too much when I have these larger oval beads. It just gives it more flexibility. Again, we're going to take these pliers and we are going to lightly squeeze this around that crimp. And then we're going to go from side to side, making sure that we get that good and closed. And there we have it. Lovey love. I feel fantastic. uh too much traveling over the weekend. We did Hi Katie. Hi Tish. Hi Simply Nikki. We did 2 trips to Tucson and live thrifting last weekend. On about 2 or 3 hours sleep each night. And then Monday, I spent all day packing orders. Tuesday, I went to town and mailed everybody's orders. And I've been doing shows ever since. It was so worth it. I mean, look at these. Look at this blue lace agate. It's so pretty. Yeah, it was totally worth it. So I will be okay. I'm gonna get caught up on my sleep like next week. I know, right? I have a whole plethora of pretty shiny beads. There's nothing wrong with that. Dorothy, how are you this evening, love? So we're going to be playing in the art room later tonight. If you want to come play with us, we are going to probably be making some ATCs. I got some really awesome papers. Um, I did a little impromptu live thrifting with Doodle. I think better than you. You're still sick. Dorothy, I got better, and then I went to Tucson, and I was in a building with 10,000 people, and my immune system was already not happy with me, and it started all over again. Not my finest moment, but I'm gonna be okay, is what I do. So to attach these, I like to use the it's just all respiratory, like, I feel like I have a sinus infection, so I sound weird when I talk, and it's, like, deep respiratory, um, you know, it's kind of what's going around. I, um I tested negative for COVID, influenza A, and influenza B, so I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's that I'm just tired. I don't know. So I really love these decorative jump rings that I have. I do sell them on Wednesdays if you're interested in grabbing some. Um, I have them in silver and gold, and I love using them on my bracelets because they double as I can hook a toggle to this, or I can also use it as a reciprocal for a lobster, which I think we're going to do on this one, which means I need to get up and get a lobster. But um, thoughts on the magnetic clasps? I love the magnetic clasps, but I also use a safety chain whenever I use them. Do you want me to show you how to do one? I have some. Hold that thought. Thank you. Those are gold. Those are silver. Let's see what we have in here. Let's get. Well, that's too big for that bracelet. Excuse me. Here we go. I'm going to use a 10 millimeter. All the blingy ones are in the other room, so we'll do this. Let's do that. And we need chain. Karen, put me to work, ma'am. Thank you. Let's see what we got going on here. Had the hardest time with the clasp on my bracelet you made me, and I changed it for a magnetic clasp. Okay. Did you keep it? Please tell me you didn't throw it away. Just saying. I would kind of gasp if you did. She's like, yep, I pitched it in the trash. Good. Because that's like I think they are like $8.75 each, sterling silver. So usually what I'll do is I'll just take maybe 2 inches, inch and a half of trash. What's trash? I know, right? I think 2 inches should be good of the chain here. And where's my wire cutters? I'm gonna snip that off. What's the trash? Yeah. And when you hook this on, what you want to do is open. You want to lay the chain in. You want to lay one side of your clasp in, and then you want to close it. Okay. Now we're gonna go to the other side. We're gonna get this silly thing off. And what you wanna do is well, we're gonna open this first. We got that. You wanna lay your chain so it lays flat. And this is probably the hardest part of this. So you're gonna hook the other end of your bracelet. You're gonna hook the other end of your chain. Oh my gosh. This is really hard to do in the camera, guys. Hold on, I'm gonna look around. You're gonna hook your chain, and then you're gonna, we'll do it in the air. Just so I want to stay on there. And then you're gonna hook the other end of your clasp. Brainiacs Boutique, hello. How are you? And then you're going to again close it side to side. So what this does is if your bracelet happens to catch on something, you're not going to lose it. Thanks. I've been doing it a few years. So, depending upon the size, and like if somebody bought this bracelet and they had like a size 6 wrist, they wouldn't need, oh my gosh, they wouldn't need that 2 inches to get it over their hand. So, again, depending upon who purchases it, I can adjust that for them and make this chain smaller. But at the end of the day, it keeps it so if it catches on something, let's say you are wearing your bracelet, can't get the stupid thing to clasp because, let's say you're wearing your bracelet. If it catches, you've got that safety chain so you don't lose it. The grocery cart all the time. Um, do you want me to send you a length of chain, Karen? I can pop it in your package from earlier today. So that's how you make a bracelet with a magnetic clasp. Easy peasy, right? So we have our bracelet. Oh, I put a card. Is that cardigan? See, I'm confused. We have our matching earrings. So if anybody would like this bracelet, let's run it. I always run them when I make them, and then I price them and put them in the to go bucket for our in-persons. Um, so just pointing out, thanks guys, that the more you practice, the better you get at it. The more you do this, the more comfortable you are with it. And it just gets easier over time. It kind of just becomes muscle memory when you're doing these things. If it's something that you only do once every couple of months, then yes, you're gonna have to, it's gonna take a little bit more work. Um, like, but if you just go slow, it's one of the beautiful things with beading. As long as you go slow and pay attention to what you're doing, uh, most everything is fixable. The one thing that I will say, hi Kim, hi Barbara, is overworking your wire is a huge no-no because it messes with the integrity of it and it will snap. So if you've tried to get a good loop on, say, a head pin and you've redone it 3 or 4 times, you're probably better off to start over with a new head pin because there's a fairly good chance that the first form of stress that that thing has, it's gonna break. Future reference, my friends. Um, there's that. Okay. Bighorn Mountain Cow, welcome. So we've got these. What do we want to play with next? Do we want to look at some stretch bracelets that I got in Tucson? Do we want to make something else? Is there any requests? Do we want to make some dangles? What do we want to do? Do we want to make a sliding knot bracelet? Got all the things around me right now. Got all the things around me. Okay. No. All right. Let's see what we can do with this. We're gonna roll with what we're doing. So I grabbed the wrong strand. That's the correct one. There we go. All right, we're gonna play with these. I really like these. These are like a Caribbean calcite. I like them. We're gonna play with them. I want to play with them. Y'all can hang out with me and play if you want to. Um, we're gonna go about another 30 minutes, and then we're gonna find somebody to raid into, and we're all gonna go about our day. If you would like to play with me in the art room later today, that's gonna be in like 3 hours. We're gonna probably be making some ATCs tonight. It's kind of the game plan. We'll see how that works out. I'm kind of not sure how long my voice is gonna hold out for that. So there's that. See, I'm having that problem again that doesn't want to go through double. So I need to pay attention to that when I'm doing the next bracelet. So we're going to just pretty much repeat the same thing over again, just with a different type of stone. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining. We are doing a jewelry demo. I have my bin is fully loaded. If there is anything you are looking for and you don't see it, probably have it somewheres. So feel free to pop it in chat. Let me know what you're looking for. So if we set, try to get these up here so you can see. If we set our earrings up like we did the last pair, we have these are really pretty. They're almost like opalite-ish consistency, but they're not, they're stone. And then we have these, it really looks like a blue opalite. Kind of crazy, but here we are. So for these, I think we're just gonna do the two. I'm gonna set those in there so I don't fling them everywhere like I just did. You are in my way. Thank you. And we're gonna find a different silver bead to go with that. Since these are, I'm glad I could help. I wish you would have told me. I would have fixed it for you. And not that you can't do it yourself, but you know what I mean. I would have sent you the appropriate things to fix it, if that makes any sense. Mm, I really like these spacers, but that's gonna make those. Am I still frozen? I don't want to be frozen. I like those. Okay. I need to see if I can find more of these. These are like old school, like old stock stuff that I've had hanging out for like probably 15 years. Because, it's how we're rolling. So for this one, I think we're going to use, do we want to use an S clasp? I'll figure that out later, I guess. Not sure why I could just never get the clasp for myself. I wear them all on your left wrist. Oh, I know. It was because it was a sterling silver one, and they're the longer, skinny ones, right? I think that's what I had. That's probably why. I struggle with those sometimes myself. Yeah, because those are all I had left in the sterling. Um, and honestly, when I went to get more sterling ones when we were in Tucson, they were like $15 each, and I decided I didn't need to get them that badly. I'll use what I have. It's very depressing, my friends. Very depressing. Yeah, it's stupid. The ear wires that I sell, they were the sterling silver ear wires, just your basic ones. And this is wholesale cost. This isn't retail. A pair of sterling ear wires like this were $12 a pair. It was insane. It was crazy insane. It was very disheartening because for my in-persons, I make a lot of sterling jewelry. And I still have some things here, but I wasn't able to afford to replenish my supplies like I normally do. So I'm kind of curious how the silver prices are going to roll. They welcome in everybody. While we were there, it was kind of crazy. While we were there, sterling dipped down to $70 a troy ounce, and then it went right back up to 120 something. So we do not question, and the prices were just stupid ridiculous. I like those. So we kind of have to rethink what we're doing here, you guys. I definitely rethought my pricing on my sterling stuff that I have for sale. That's for sure. and we'll just kind of see how it lands. And before the in-persons, I have quite a bit made. I'm pricing it according to current prices and hope that something gives soon. So there's that. There's always hope. Those are going to be a little longer, but I don't know that I mind because they're cool. When you have these open weave, like basket weave beads, you want to make sure that you actually get it through the designated hole and not one of the weaves. One of the most frustrating things to do is complete a project and realize one of those beads is on there sideways. So there is that. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for joining. So we're just going to go back to our one-step looper, our cheater pliers. Again, going slow, wrapping that around. Once it touches, give it a little jog back. Have that. Go to the other one. And this is where, if you're making hundreds of pairs of earrings, it's very helpful to have this tool so your hands aren't like dying at the end of a creating session. The bead is wonky. There we go. Didn't want that one. Does anybody have any questions? Again, we're going to hold it tight. We're going to go slow. Wrap it around. Catch that. And bam. Do the other one. Make sure it's in that hole. Alice, are you ready to go, babe? Go slow. Wrap it around. Okay. I'm going to finish these earrings and we're probably going to come hang out with you for a minute. I think it's time for me to take some more cold medicine. Yeah. My head's starting to pound. All right, there we have it. So all of our loops are tight. And let me double check those. Good. That one, not so much. Sometimes you have to adjust them. It's okay. It's easier to do a small adjustment than make the whole thing from scratch, quite truthfully. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining. All right, so again, open that loop side to side. Hook your loop on. Close it. Open your loop side to side. Hook that on. Close it. I just noticed that this loop was not closed. I must have missed it when we were doing adjustments. So we're going to make sure that it's closed well before we hook that on our ear wires. Again, you take your ear wires. I showed this one day and somebody's like, oh my God, I didn't realize those opened. Typically, your loops on your ear wires will open. Again, side to side. Hook your dangle on. Close side to side. again, open side to side, hook your dangle on, and close. Easy peasy. And we have another pair of earrings. Again, we're going to run them. And then if y'all don't want them, they're going to get carded and priced and thrown in the in-person bin. So there's that. Perfect. Thank you all so very much for taking a look at that. And thank you all for hanging out with me. Does anybody have any questions? Anything that you would like for me to address before we go right into Miss Alice Gifty Gypsy? This ended up a little bit longer than I'd planned, but somebody's gonna love them. Brainiacs, thank you so very much. I love those stones a lot. I want to make a bracelet with them, but alas, I am feeling this is my second show for a day, and I've got for today, and I have one more to go. So I think I am going to hop off of here and see if we can. We're going to come back later tonight. We'll be in the art room and probably be working on some artist trading cards tonight. I do have quite a bit of scrapbooking paper that I got, as well as some cardstock, and I want to show it to all of you and share it with you. So there's that. So probably let me see, it's 7 or 7:30 my time. We will be going live. So that's like 3 hours from now. 2 hours. It's almost 5. Got you. We're on our way, babe. So, bookmark my show for later tonight. It's in the art room. And then Saturday is live crafty thrifting with my amazing husband. And then Monday is the artisan creative train. So if you would like to see a whole bunch of people making all kinds of different things, bookmark all of the shows that say artisan creative train for Monday. If nothing else, having more bookmarks really, really helps us. If you're on YouTube and you stuck with us this long, thank you so very much. Please leave a comment in the comment section. And if you're not following me on YouTube, my YouTube channel is the same, Tam's Creative Journey with no spaces. Thank you all for hanging. Much love to each and every one of you. I will see you in a couple of hours. Have a blessed rest of your night.